现在这个路是非常的颠簸，然后我现在和庄园主 Willem 一起。Hello Willem。Hello 。哇，所以呢，就是可能画面呢会有一点颠簸，但是我们会记录一下进山的一个状态。So Willem, do you think the road has been improved in the past few years?
The first time when I came here, the road was so bad that you never knew whether or not you would make it if you would try to come up. And obviously we became a little bit smarter about navigating the roads.
Yeah.
So now it's better than it has been before. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're now at this stretch on our way to Finca La Cabra where it gets a little bit more slippery. But overall right now it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it's like I've been in worse conditions at this road. So.
Since it's the raining season, if it rains, it gets much worse, right?
Because I think a traditional challenge, a traditional problem of the vertical fermentation tanks is that's not possible.
Yeah.
So you will have always
some cherry soap in the juice.
Which can give you a high level of inconsistency in the mass of coffee. Yeah.
So this is measuring the temperature.
This is the pressure development. Yeah.
Pressure. Okay.
No, sorry. This is temperature actually.
Yes.
And then we have
this
pressure gauges. That's pressure. Yeah. And then this is
for the juices. Is this one to go out?
That's for the juices to go out.
Okay.
And then this is a entry to do CO2 injection.
Injections.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Did you decide this? It looks like the Willem specialty.
This is a Willem special. And this is this depulper is made by Bendik.
Okay.
And the vision of this farm is to be as ecologic as possible.
Yes.
And so rather than having a noisy motor, this is also actually creates a very efficient source of power. So
that's cool.
Finca La Cabra.
En seco, sin agua.
En seco.
So it's a dry anaerobic natural process. Yeah. So no water. And so this was the first series where we started to work with the reactors.
Oh.
And that's when we noticed this relatively high pressure that develops during the fermentation that can go up as high as 40 psi. So it's pretty, it's as high as when you open the
40 psi.
Yeah, you can feel it.
That higher.
Yeah, we have monitored it on all the batches we did.
That's the pH of the fermentation, the juice or the
of the juice. Yeah, so this is basically this is the book that the staff writes in with every process what's happening with the fermentation.
Okay.
So it was the
day that's putting
it was the day of the harvest.
Harvest.
The start of the process of fermentation, the dry fermentation at 9 a.m. On the 25th of January.
Okay.
And it was fermented for 10 days.
Oh, that's a very long fermentation.
It's a long fermentation. was taken out on February 4th.
Say 6 days
Sí.
fermentation, is it?
Aquí era lo que se veía.
So the fermentation was 6 days. Because the goal was to bring the pH to 4.
So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on this day, basically, it was taken to the drying beds here, and then later to our secondary drying station, which is at Kelly's Kelly's house.
Yes. Really good time, because 6 days it's considered long for tanks maybe, but in the reactor, still never go above the edge, and it's still very clean.
Yeah. That's also the idea for the fermentations using these reactors, is that you have an end result that is as clean as possible, and that we amplify the flavor of the coffee, rather than that we change it dramatically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we have found.
Yes.
Welcome here at Finca La Cabra. La Cabra is Spanish for the goat. Finca La Cabra was planted with seeds from Finca La Mula. Finca La Mula sits up there in the clouds.
Oh, that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Finca La Cabra sits between 1,500 and 1,600 something meters. We have 8 hectares planted.
Okay.
In total, the farm is 10 hectares.
Okay.
The 2 hectares that are not planted are basically the borderlines with the rivers we have here.
Nice.
And then we have about 70%, 65% is geisha, of which mostly are bronze tip.
Okay.
And then we have 2 other varieties called TG1, and the other is Betty 2. And TG1 and Betty 2 are Ethiopian heirloom varieties that we have been preparing for quite a while for planting. And all these 3 varieties are quite distinct, of course, And because you see the cherries seem to have somewhat of a different feature from the geishas. And you can see that they also have a different feature from what we saw before on the TG1. So it definitely has a interesting difference. And cross pollination, cross flowering is a very common thing.
Okay.
Okay. So he's just looking for these natural seedlings that grow under the trees, so that he can put them there in the or germinated seeds, that he can refill those in the bags there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just when you walk here,
Be careful, don't two-step.
just stay in the watch out the young trees, but also when you walk through the grass, always look ahead of you to see that you don't step on anything that you should not step on.
Yeah.
Right? Since this is a very young farm, there were areas in the farm that were you could just see that some areas were doing much better than other areas.
Yes.
So then, we used the map of the farm to indicate specific spots where we took soil samples.
Okay.
And then at those same spots we took samples of the leaves of the coffee trees to have them analyzed by a lab, to look at what kind of nutrients do we find in the soil, what kind of nutrients in the leaves. This is guava. Guava.
Guava.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ese es uno ya grande, ¿verdad? Ese que está ahí.
Yeah. So this is the same like the
guava.
big one, yeah. And guava also has the fruit, and then the fruit, when it falls, it becomes a nutrient or a compost by itself.
Las hojas contienen mucho nitrógeno.
And the leaves contain a lot of nitrogen.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So nitrogen is the most important building block in any fertilizer.
Yes.
So it's free fertilizer,